Dark Phoenix! The Fox X-Men era was a big, sloppy thing, with beautiful, respectable highs and lows that are so embarrassing that it besmirches the entire genre. And as expected, it ended on a cliffhanger after 3 films that all had pretty good sense of finality to them. However, upon revisiting Dark Phoenix, there's actually more to the film than actually expected. What it is and what it could have been. Yes, the irony physically hurts me. It's a very flawed film. I love the cast, I love the Frank Quietly costumes, and I like the tone, because Dark Phoenix at its core isn't really a superhero film. It's an intimate character drama about human darkness, and it's set around a series of competing, legitimate, complex point of views. Although I didn't like the pacing, because it's both too slow and too quick at the same time. Like, Mystique's funeral happens immediately after her death, which makes very little sense. She's a cultural and historical icon. You'd think there'd be a bigger deal. Furthermore, Magneto being a bad guy feels tired and trite, and the Phoenix itself is so confusingly inconsistent. Is it a dissociated personality inside Jean, or is it from outer space? Although, what I previously found to be the most frustrating element, the treatment of Charles Xavier, where everyone just keeps dropping a dookie on him. You got Jennifer Lawrence being mad about being sent to outer space, Hank yelling at him, Eric being mean, and by the end he's wearing a cheap polo shirt after being kicked out of his own house. That actually became one of the strongest aspects of the film, because Dark Phoenix is a more direct sequel to First Class within Days of Future Past or even Apocalypse, because it's about Xavier's arrogance from all those decades ago manifesting itself in a way that has finally rendered his own role and his vision obsolete. This argument between Raven and Xavier is not supposed to be fair, rational, or even ideological. It's 2 siblings getting mad at each other. A moment reminiscent of their arguments from First Class. Except this time, it's not 2 kids figuring out how to live in their world.
But I guess pets are always cuter when they're little, right?
It's 2 adults trying to enforce their different visions for the young. The opening words are literally Jean saying,
"Who are we? Are we simply what others want us to be? Are we destined to a fate beyond our control?"
Therefore, as the subject of the story, Jean represents the next generation, an undefined group looking to find their own place and purpose in the world, where their biggest obstacle is having the decisions made for them, introduced very early on when Xavier redefines the word special, so it's not a euphemism for weird, but as something significant. That's how Jean comes to accept herself, but also upon my second viewing, that's how Xavier sees himself to an extent. He's someone who sees the good in her, but also her uses for himself.
Special's just a nice word.
Weird or crazy? Sometimes it is. Sometimes it can be a word used to describe people who are significant or amazing or just really cool.
I gotta say though, Xavier is not the villain or the hero, he's just a complicated man whose own dream has begun to be limited by his own style of leadership, where his vision of peaceful cooperation has also become a platform for his ego. Is he unreasonable in his action? I'd say no, but is he neglectful? Kinda, yeah.
Jean can hold that shuttle together, can't you, Jean?
And that's the central concept that everyone is focused on, everyone is linked to. Generational responsibility, which is what Mystique calls him out for. She saw mutants segregated and exploited during Vietnam and experimented on to death by Trask, and now she sees Charles volunteering the kids and escalating the risk to the point that Jean gets blasted by a solar flare.
When we changed the world so we could live in it.
Yeah, but maybe that's what we should go do. We wear matching costumes and smile in pictures to
That
make
is a
everyone
small
feel
price
safe.
to pay for keeping the peace.
By risking our people to save theirs.
Yes, yes.
This is our life. This is what we wanted.
Not like this.
Raven.
It's not our life, Hank.
This is the inherent paradox within Xavier's leadership. His vision excludes the very people he does this for. And this is also symbolized by Jane.
You told me my father was dead, and you used me for my powers.
No, that's just not true. That's not what happened.
Charles repressed Jean's trauma, where her father not only survived the car crash, but he actively disowned her. Unfortunately, Jean is also the weakest part of the film, because she has no real character outside of, well, she loves Scott and is mad at Xavier, and has a pretty good time at the party. The pain and difficulty of how she dealt with the trauma is never presented outside of Xavier's intervention, so it's hard to be entirely invested in her arc. Anyways, in this pain and confusion, she's influenced by the Phoenix. The irony is that it's by Xavier's intervention in Jean's childhood she kills Raven and in turn causes his dream to crumble. The younger students lose the magic in their eyes. He loses his line with the president and Hank turns on him. Xavier isn't wrong, but it's the fact that he's incapable or even seeing himself as such is the problem. His own empathy has been inhibited by his own ego.
No, you need to face this, Charles. You need to face it. Come on, admit it to me right now. Come on.
Admit it! Charles, just admit you were wrong, please.
He can't even say he's wrong just to comfort Hank. He doesn't see his responsibility to the younger generation. He sees them as tools for his own responsibility for the past. This broader generational theme is also shared by Eric, who denies Jean guidance when she asks for it. Instead, he provokes her and kicks her away.
You need to leave. Go!
Negligence is what's in the way of the younger generation's ability to see themselves, and also housing prices, so it's important that they have to let go of the authority of the old and carve their own destiny. Become their own authority. However, the following scene, Jean finds Jessica Chastain, who talks about how people don't understand her and how she has the power to create life. And this is precisely when the film implodes in onto itself, and clearly where it was compromised, because you see, Dark Phoenix was supposed to be a two-part film. There's an absolutely fantastic video by Dark Phoenix Uncut that I highly recommend. In the original script, after Eric exiles Jean, the Hellfire Club returns, which would include Emma Frost, hence why her photo was removed in Days of Future Past, and they capture and brainwash Jean into joining them. However, the X-Men rescue her. The battle is in the streets of New York. Jean loses control and accidentally kills Mystique here, before escaping with Cyclops. Spies for the Shi'ar Intergalactic Empire then informs Empress Lalandra that the Phoenix must be destroyed. And that's the end of part 1. This very much explains why Mystique's funeral feels so rushed, why the aliens are so poorly set up. In part 2, the Shi'ar Empire arrive, and announce that they will destroy Earth if they don't get Jean Grey. Xavier surrenders in her place, which kind of resolves his hubris arc. He convinces Lalandra that Jean is not beyond salvation, and they eventually develop a deep romantic bond. Beast and a group of students join Magneto, who have decided to kill Jean, while the other X-Men and other students set out to protect Scott and Jean. This schism, see what I did there, is what leads to Eric discovering Quicksilver is his son, but he refuses to join him, so finally, we get some resolution there. Presumably, Quicksilver then flees across dimensions and adopts the identity of Ralph Boner at one point. The X-Men defeat Eric and his acolytes, and challenges the Imperial Shi'ar Guard to a duel for Jean's life. They're nearly defeated, until Jean unleashes the Phoenix to save them, causing the Shi'ar to attack Earth. Everyone teams up to save the world. However, in the end, Jean sacrifices herself to destroy the Shi'ar's doomsday weapon. Therefore, impressed by Jean's bravery, Lalandra spares Earth, and the world remembers Jean as a hero. As a gift, Xavier gets his hover chair, and he leaves to join Eric in Genosha, as the X-Men are left to run the school themselves. They have control of their own future now, and have their own generational responsibility. While in deep space, Jean is reborn as a cosmic entity, and leaves to explore the universe. This was then truncated into a 160-minute long cut used for test screenings, where Jessica Chastain and her alien powers are actually the Skrulls, hence why they're shapeshifters. They want to use the power of the Phoenix to enslave the universe and have infiltrated the government, alongside other alien civilizations. Subsequently, they plan to use Jean to create distrust between humans and mutants, while also getting all the world leaders to one place to kill and replace them all. I especially kind of love the idea of putting in aliens as a third party, because for the first time it moves the margins of the story, so it's not just humans versus mutants, it's now humans and mutants versus aliens. We can stimulate actual progress and the tribal aspects of the whole story. Anyways, during all this intergalactic stuff, Xavier is out of his depth and finally admits, I don't know what to do. However, SWAT arrests the X-Men and Magneto's acolytes as they fight. Charles and Scott escapes, and despite being unwelcomed at the UN meeting, Charles delivers a speech and uses his telepathy to save them as the Skrulls attack. Jean then frees herself from the Skrulls, and as the space fleet is overhead, Cyclops and Charles has their farewell as she flies off. And as the fleet surrounds her like a claw, her body crumbles and the Phoenix is unleashed, destroying herself and them. Then as we close on Xavier retiring, Jean's voice speaks of how there's more out there in space. We're not the center anymore. I'm not sure about you, but that sounds pretty cool. What we got instead was everyone fights each other to kill Jean, but as aliens arrive to kill Jean too, they team up and they fight on a train. Which, props to Simon Kinberg for being able to make the final new climax still pretty cool. I mean there's loads of memorable cool stuff, like Nightcrawler losing it and Eric throwing half a train like a badass. Anyways, Jean Grey sacrifices herself to kill Jessica Chastain. It's a much smaller iteration of the broad strokes painted by the original two-part story, with the concession that Cyclops is the one who turns Eric and Hank. Because as they're trying to avenge Raven, they realize that to truly honor her and respect her, they should do what she would want, protect Jean. Hank is the first to change, which causes Eric to. Furthermore, Hank is also the one who becomes the new head of school, which is weird, but at the same time, I guess it kind of flows thematically because he was the one who had visions of living in this world, not just as Xavier's soldiers, so it kind of works. While Xavier retires in an ugly polo shirt as Eric approaches with a chess game, not as someone lost, but as a friend, a mentor, someone who knows how to live with his mistakes, as the Phoenix is in the sky, hinting at new possibilities. This ending pissed me off originally because when I heard they reshot the entire ending, I assumed it was because they were planning to give it a more definitive close, especially since it was happening during the Disney acquisition, but nope, we've got an unfinished story where everyone is mostly miserable. But damn it, in this rewatch I thought this was actually really touching. It's bittersweet in an understated, respectable way. There's a hint of hope within the uncertainty.
I go easy on you. No, you won't.
And that is actually very much my favorite part of this entire film. The feel. In this messy film that's incredibly compromised, there's a tone that is strong and cohesive and very, very specific. So instead of being like the theatrical cut of Justice League, it feels still very much comprehensive. The color grading has this beautiful yellow tint that drowns the colors, not in a gritty, desaturated way, but creates a somber, subdued mood. The acting is way more subtle than usual. Jennifer Lawrence actually looks like she cares. There's an organicness to the handheld camera style, and despite not getting the full story arcs across, its core theme and messages of generational responsibility remains intact and readable. Simon Kinberg has taken full responsibility for the film bombing, but I don't know, I feel like he actually deserves credit, not blame. Dark Phoenix shows us the hubris and dangers in hiding things, and as the movie rushed and compromised, I believe Simon Kinberg's original vision should also not be hidden. The original footage should be released, because what's more cowardly than hiding stuff? What kind of So this was the new Dark Phoenix video. It's both an expansion and a replacement of my old one, which you can still access from the link down below in the description. I made the essay back in the day when I was experimenting with video formats, specifically the whole angry critic thing, but I realized I don't have the inherent angry personality to sustain it during writing, voicing, and editing, so I never went back to it. But whatever, my need to make this video largely came because I was recently really obsessed with the Jonathan Hickman X-Men Krakoa stuff, so I wanted to make an X-Men video. Anyways, I hope you found it mildly interesting, and special thanks to everyone on Patreon. You guys keep me afloat, and I gotta make that Alita video very soon.
Am I missing something?